Ladies and gentlemen, please rise. And now to honor America, please join in the singing of our national anthem. Representing the three-time Stanley Cup champion New Jersey Devils, Arlette.
I feel like I'm at a game. Oh my gosh. Oh, say, can you see by the dawn's early light what so proudly we hailed at the twilight's last gleaming, whose broad stripes and bright stars through the perilous fight o'er the ramparts we watched were so gallantly streaming, and the rocket's red glare, the bombs bursting in air, gave proof through the night that our flag was still there. Oh, say, does that star-spangled banner yet wave o'er the land of the free and the home of the
Hey, Sam, I got to tell you, I do a lot of hockey, and I do a lot of podcasts and everything, and you guys have one of the best podcasts anywhere. It's knowledgeable, it's fun, and you do it right. So thank you for your time and for having me on the show.
It wasn't that bad. It wasn't that bad. I thought it was funny.
That was no Campbell Titanic video. I don't know.
Happy Devils Sunday. This is the Let's Go Devils podcast, Season 3, Episode 36, titled Very Riveting, because we have a special guest host coming to you live through the Nova product design powered cam. We have this giant camera sitting outside of my house, beaming 60 miles away to Rebecca Morse's studio. I am your host, Sam Wu, here with Short Sky, Rebecca Morse, and Scotty, all powered by Nova product design from Primetime Radio, and now simulcasting on the Primetime Radio network. Rebecca, welcome to the Let's Go Devils podcast into our virtual studio. How are you tonight?
I'm good. I'm excited to be joining you guys tonight, especially with all this free time on my hands. So thank you for having me.
Yeah,
you
we all
guys
have
can
free
go.
time.
That's not just me. I know. I'm not the only one.
I've been working from. So this is going into week 3 that I've been working from home, and I keep saying it. I'm afraid I'm going to be late to my couch in the morning because that's where all my work gets done. And I know because when I do all the shirts, I do in my garage, and I have been late from when I wanted to start. So no doubt will I be late to my couch one morning at some point.
Yeah. I still haven't figured out because my couch is like against my blinds. So every time I'm trying to do, a video meeting or something like that, the light is just blaring through and just kind of like you can't see anything that's going on. So one of these days, maybe I'll learn how to properly place that camera. But then that would mean I would have to leave my couch, and I don't want to do that. That's my new place. That's my new office is my couch. So come on.
I don't know how you guys
tough
stay in
times
one
to live in.
spot. I have set up shop at multiple locations throughout my apartment because I get bored of looking at the same spot, I think, for too long. So I'll move from the couch to my kitchen table to my spare room, all over the place.
No,
Yeah, we're all
Facebook Live.
I've perfected
Sorry.
sitting in the same spot over the last 2 weeks. Anyway, Sam, go ahead. Facebook Live.
Sorry, Facebook Live. People are asking questions. Like Rob Klebosis Jr. says, "How are you, Moose?" I know that we all love Rob.
Oh,
Devils
miss you, Rob.
diehards. Yeah,
Hey,
I'm doing okay, Rob. It's been a while.
Rob
It's been
didn't
weird
have-
not seeing you. I mean, my season for the Riveters ended a few weeks ago here, just before all this, the outbreak really started to hit hard. So it's been a time where I haven't really been around my teammates or the Riveters community anyway, and have all this free time now. But I definitely miss it.
Right. And I know because Shorts Guy has mentioned this plenty of times that he hasn't been able to play hockey recently, and it's been driving him crazy because he can't put the pads on, can't do that. How's that been affecting you?
I mean, I think I'm pretty much going through, a similar process after the season ends as I normally would. But now I have a little bit of additional downtime, just given the fact I work in New York City, so not commuting there. And that's really, it's like 3 hours back and forth. Usually I'm commuting, so that frees up some additional time. Definitely miss being on the ice. So I think after this season, it's just like the saddest I've been. And this feeling in my stomach, not just of, not making it to the championship game, but really the bigger piece of just the season being over and not really knowing what to do with myself. I mean, I've gone through that every single year since I was a child, basically. But this year, my team was just so special that there's definitely a huge void that I'm feeling right now.
Yeah, well, I mean, like you said, you were commuting back and forth to New York, so I guess once the season ends, normally, you probably just have some, something to distract you right away, but that distraction for everyone is gone.
Yeah.
Yeah, and I was looking forward to, after my season wrapped up, watching some more Devils games, because a lot of times they're playing when I'm on the ice practicing. So, I'll have to watch highlights afterwards. But now, unfortunately, that's not even an option. And we're all feeling that for sure.
Yeah. Yeah, it's been tough. I mean, it was actually nice watching the Devils Rangers game 6. NBCSN was replaying a bunch of those, series clinching games from the playoffs, and just to see that atmosphere and everything, on the ice, it's just, it's so weird on TV, and sports in general right now. So it was good to get that playoff hockey feel, for a moment there.
Oh, yeah, and that really brought back the memories about how loud that building can really be. I definitely miss that atmosphere, that playoff atmosphere. Just watching that. I mean, I know I've seen bits and pieces of it. I was there, but I only saw like bits and pieces of it here and there when it was on TV. So it was kind of interesting to finally sit down and see it. And I still, every game that I've watched since all this has gone down, like I'm still celebrating goals like that. Like even though like I know what's going to happen, I'm still jumping up and down in my house. Like, yeah, we did it. It still felt just as good, as it did the first time around. It was great.
Henry, it's over. Yeah. Yeah, that's all we got right now. But we're all finding all these little quirky things to do in the meantime. Rebecca, I gotta say, that's one amazing shirt you got on over there. I gotta say.
Oh, this one?
That's an incredible,
Thank
you.
incredible shirt right there. I mean, just
Yeah,
fine.
I love the design.
Right?
Yeah, and that would be thanks to Beer Baron, who wasn't able to make it tonight. But that's his design.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. No, actually, yeah, he came up with that design from scratch, which was pretty awesome. To have just a completely original logo like that for what we do here has been phenomenal. But yeah, it looks real good on that shirt, Rebecca. Well done.
Thank you.
It's like you knew what to do.
I've had it on all day, actually. Swear to God.
So what have you been doing then, in this time to keep yourself a little bit busy? I know a lot of people have been doing, starting up workout routines and stuff like that. And actually, we had a couple people on the Facebook page ask, what you were doing, any sort of like nutrition regimens or any sort of workout routines that you like to do at this time?
Well, initially it was kind of really just taking a break from
Yeah.
everything.
Yeah.
Just to sort of like catch up on sleep, which I've definitely done a lot of. I think I slept like 11 hours Friday night. But other than that, haven't like dug too much into like the regimented workouts. Just because now is such a weird time, and I'm trying to get outside on the days when it's nice out, but unfortunately this weekend that really wasn't the case in New Jersey. But
right.
Doing quick workouts at home too. One thing I've picked up recently is meditation. I've done a few guided meditation classes after work during the week, which has been a nice way to like de-stress, maybe grab a glass of wine, have a few sips before, and then really just focus.
Okay. All right. Are you a white wine or a red wine? There we go.
I used to like white wine better, but more recently I've been on the red wine kick, and I think that's because I went to Italy the end of last summer and just had some really good red wine there, and I think I only drank red wine. Yeah, I mean, I wouldn't call myself a connoisseur or anything like that, but
do it. Just go ahead. Just label it. Go for it. Yeah, 100%.
See, I have not yet gone on that wine kick. I'm not a wine person yet. I know it should maybe eventually happen, but not yet. It's still all beer for me.
I got a lot of good wineries out here in California, so I got on it when I moved out here, when there was no more Yingling left and stuff, in Los Angeles. So I had to switch over to some wineries every now and then, and stuff is pretty good. I got to taste more, but now same thing. See, I used to drink white wine only because I liked it because it was cold, but now I'm like, red wine is really nice,
Yes.
Mm-hmm. I got a little of that taste too. I know what you're talking about. 100%.
Yeah.
Maybe I'll have to go open up one of the bottles I have here.
You should. I think I'm down to like one, and I had 6 like like last week. So it's not just me. It's not just me. I am practicing social distancing. I am practicing social distancing. Don't worry. But my girlfriend, I live with my girlfriend, and then my brother came over this weekend, so it wasn't just all me consuming this wine, I promise.
What about the meditation? Because our other esteemed colleague, Beer Baron, who's not here, it's enjoyment for us when he gets so frustrated, so often, at bad penalties and stuff like that. So meditation might be something that would work out for him, I think. So
it might.
Tell us just like, yeah, it might. If we could actually get him to meditate for just a little bit, it might do him some good. So tell us just a little about some of that stuff that you said you were doing as well.
Yeah,
I'm interested in it too.
You should be. It's very relaxing, and it's something that I really just picked up. I had done it like here and there in the past, but never really consistently. And it's definitely something that I'll continue to do moving forward. There are different apps that you can download. Like one I use is the Calm app, which is really good. But You do have to pay for a subscription if you want access to all of the guided meditations. But it's a good place to start to see, if you're into it. And there are some free options, ones that you can listen to. And then people have been great in the community, just getting together and using the skills that they have to really bring people together and also calm anxiety that, some people might be feeling right now. So there's somebody in my local community who does it as a hobby, does guided meditation. And she took us through one on, I believe, through Zoom. So it's like a community of people all doing it together at the same time, all in different locations. And that one was honestly awesome because I felt like I was dreaming while I was awake. It was the weirdest thing, but just so relaxing. And then for my normal full-time job, company that I work at, one of my colleagues, his mother does meditation as well. So she also took us through meditation. It's pretty cool.
Sounds kind of like Inception a little bit too. I feel like Christopher Nolan might be directing this. Right?
Yeah. Well, I like to interject. I have some experience with meditation. Early on in this podcast, I used to get frustrated all the time, and there's this, and I didn't have time to go to a meditation expert or learn how to meditate, but I did buy this device called Muse, M-U-S-E, and basically you put this thing around your head, and it scans your brain waves, and then you hook it up via Bluetooth to your phone. No, I'm not kidding around. It's all scientific, and then it measures your brain waves, and then when stop it, guys! I'm not kidding.
It sounds so complex.
Well, basically, I'll tell you off air, Rebecca. Never mind.
No.
Sammy,
what is it?
Just finish the story.
Yeah. What is it? You wrap it around your head. What do you wrap around your head?
No, it looks like a headphone, but you put it on your forehead, and it measures your brain waves, and it sends it to your phone and your app. Now, the phone, you hook up some headphones, and by measuring your brain waves, it knows how to calibrate the music and sound to keep you relaxed. But you can't just do it one time. You got to do a series of like 6 weeks, and I swear to you, it completely reprograms your brain. So anytime something frustrating happens, you don't like throw a fist. Remember, like back in the day when I used to do this podcast, I don't know if you remember, Shorts Guy, I used to throw shit around, get pissed off and whatever, and then I started doing it, and then suddenly it's like you breathe in and breathe out, and then you just move on. It really just reprograms your brain. I don't know if you feel that way, Rebecca, early on in your meditation,
Definitely.
Because I think it can help your game.
Yeah, I think it's something that you need to do consistently, though, because people just expect you to do it, and then they're good for the rest of the day, and that's not really the case. Like a lot of people I've heard from will do it one time in the morning when they wake up, and then again at the end of the day. So, and there's obviously a lot of benefits for athletes as well, just in terms of mindfulness and like being in control of your body, being present in your thoughts, whether it's like reflecting on a game or whatever. So it's definitely something that I think will help me in that respect.
I think Sam Wu got like the Terminator Skynet version of it. I think that's what the problem was.
You know what? I will put out a link on Facebook Live so people don't think I'm BSing. Thanks, guys. Thanks for
everybody listen to Rebecca.
Wait, Sam.
Don't listen to Sam.
If people don't think you're BSing, that would be very different than a normal week. So it seems to be the normal anyway.
Yeah, go to choosemuse.com. We're not endorsed by them. I'm just, I'll put it out in the Facebook live chat. And Shorts Guy, I just got your text. I don't know how to do that, but give me 1 second. You guys keep on talking.
Alrighty.
All right.
One thing, because we've been talking about a lot of things here, but we haven't really touched on just too much straight hockey stuff. Hey, Sam, what happened to Shorts Guy?
Hey, He had to go to the bathroom, I guess. So I'm just filling in here.
Oh, the beer. We got it.
So,
We got it.
I'm allowed to do that now if I
Yeah,
need to.
see,
Yeah,
you just text me in the group text, be like, Sammy, take me off for 30 seconds.
Oh. And there I go and call him out immediately on it. Awesome. Very smooth on my part.
Yeah, Sam. All right, so Sam is BSing right there. You know what it was? I noticed because I got my TV's directly across from me with my new setup now, and in the one framed art behind me, I just see the TV going on and on and on. I need to go turn it off, and the remote was across the room, obviously. So Sam was BSing again, like normal, making up lies about me. So thanks, Sam. Well done.
Well, we just figured the beer, like you just needed a quick little break. That's all.
I'm not even half through. Like, come on, give
Well,
me a
I don't know
break
if that's
here.
your I don't know if that's your first one. It's late in the
Give me a
evening.
second
That may
one.
be
It's my-
like okay.
It's my second one. I'm picking up the slack for Beer Baron not being here with the beers tonight. So
Yes, that's very true.
do what I can. I will do what I can. But Rebecca, I like all this stuff about the meditation. I did meditation for a little bit, like 2 years ago, 3 years ago, and I definitely felt a difference. And then I got busy and I fell off it. So maybe this is a good time to actually start doing that again. I was using this one app called Insight Timer, and it worked really well. And it just timed it for you, so you didn't have to worry about how long am I doing this. So maybe I'll have to get back on that now that I have plenty of time to do nothing.
Yeah, it's something I've been meaning to do, and I think lack of time was my excuse. But I sort of learned that that's never really an excuse because it's literally like 5-10 minutes out of your day, like I said, and the benefits will like outweigh. I feel that the time that you're using to actually do it.
Yeah, I think I got to give it a shot again. I think I'm going to start doing that this week. With if I can schedule it into my wide open day.
People have recommended it to me, but I've never really actually done it. But now I feel like this would be the perfect time to go ahead and download an app and kind of walk through a couple meditations and see if it actually has a good positive effect. Or get brainwashed like Sam Wu in the Terminator Skynet scenario we were talking about earlier, Both sound interesting, like it'll be a heck of a story in the end, so why not? What's up, Sam?
Sam's back.
Well, I'm reading off.
Sam, you have to go to the bathroom too?
No, Matt says in the Facebook Live groups, Sam Wu, do you still have the goal light helmet? Yes, I do. I still have the goal light helmet. It's not a meditation helmet, although that would be a nice idea for the average hockey fan, a meditation helmet. Thanks for the idea, nice. Matt. Durango Steve says, LOL, LOL.
There is a certain subset of the hockey community that dislike that goal light because it means that they've screwed up.
Oh.
Thinking.
Oh.
Sam's thinking.
Goalies, Sam.
Yes.
Oh, yeah. Never mind.
Goalies.
Here, you know what? This is what I do when I'm just...
You can't do that.
Yeah, I can. I can do whatever I want. I'm producer Sam.
Yeah.
He can make himself full screen.
He's got all the controls. He can mute people.
Rebecca,
there's that guy.
We got to get this private jet. We've been trying to aim for this private jet so we can take our fans across North America to watch the Devils on the road. We take over buildings. So this leads to my next question. How are the fans in the other buildings when you go to Minnesota or Boston? Do some pretty big crowds? Are the crowds like very boisterous the entire time? Because it seems like Minnesota has a pretty good crowd.
Oh yeah, and I personally love playing at Minnesota for that reason. They have like A-class facilities there, but in addition to that, the atmosphere is just wild. That state's passion for hockey is amazing. I mean, you could feel it in the building, and another thing I love about playing there is the fact that kids, when they're lining up while you're, right to the path to the ice, while you're going towards the ice to get out there for the start of the game, the start of a period, they'll give fist pumps to every single player, not only the Minnesota players, which is amazing. And I think actually the fact that they do that has backfired on me in the past, because they're so welcoming and just encouraging the fact that, oh, you play this sport and you're not half bad at it. So I consider you a role model regardless of which jersey you're wearing. However, so, I'll always encourage them and, give them a high five, whatever. And also thank them for just having a passion for hockey, because, it's different over there. It's amazing. And you really feel it regardless of whether or not you're at a rink. But this past season, we played in the Buffalo Believes Classic. That was at an outdoor facility in Buffalo. And so it was an outdoor game, and it was it was really sweet. I played in a few outdoor games throughout my career. This one was certainly different, but in a good way, just because of the atmosphere. When you're playing like outdoor games, a lot of times at like large stadiums, you're not as close. The fans aren't as close to the actual ice surface and to the players. They're kind of looking from afar. Like, for example, I played at Fenway in college, and that's how it was. But at this facility, it's built for outdoor playing. So it's not just, makeshift rink they're putting up. So people are there year round, and the bleachers are, the stands are right next to the ice surface. So again, it got pretty loud. And as I was getting off the ice at the end of the game, we'd actually won, and it was a crazy game because we were up by, I don't even remember how many goals, but Buffalo came back. It was a large gap, and Buffalo came back and tied it up towards the end of the game. So their fans were getting super rowdy, and you really couldn't hear anything in that building, even though it was outside. But then we ended up winning. We ended up coming back and winning the game, luckily. And as I was getting off the ice, one fan, he was an older gentleman. He, put the knuckles out, and I went to hit him, and then he goes, "Psych," and I fell for it, and I felt so stupid. But I was like, who's actually the stupid one? Me for falling for that, or like him for being upset because we just won the game? It was an older guy, like probably older than me. So I was like, oh wow. I was like, good one, dude, but no.
So, Rebecca, I had all these ideas, and Shorts Guy, you're going to have to help me out on this next season. We're going to a Riveters game, wherever it is, next season. I had a couple ideas. I wanted to have like a moose section in the arena. And now, Shorts Guy introduced me to this place where they make very affordable vinyl banners, where it's like 2 feet and then pretty much unlimited amount of vinyl. And I was thinking of just putting this like giant 2 by 96 foot vinyl banner that just says moose, in the back. And I want to get this done, Shorts Guy, because our schedules this past season was crazy. But we got to get to a Metropolitan Riveters game and actually do that, and just like act like a bunch of hooligans like we used to back in 2008, back in the day, where we just, nonstop chanting. We probably get kicked out, though. What do you think, Shorts Guy?
I mean, I've been kicked out of arenas. Before, but I'm down. You don't have to. Don't threaten me with a good time like that.
Yeah, I mean, Scotty, you got to fly from L.A. to New Jersey, and let's go to Metropolitan Rivers. I'll tell you what, the fan engagement between the players and the kids is something to watch. Like, the kids really get into it. They've got their own chants, and you're like listening to these chants, and you're thinking, 1 minute you're thinking, oh, the little kid's having a good time, but some of these chants are pretty creative behind the bench. sometimes, and I don't know where they get the chants from, and I haven't heard some of these chants, and I find myself trying to rip off some of these chants for the Devils games at times. But the engagement is cool. I love it when
you're stealing little kids' chants. Is that what you're doing?
Yeah,
You're stealing little kids'
it's
chants.
a dog eat dog world. Yeah, I got to rip it off. I'm getting too old right now to be that creative. I got to steal little kids' chants. You know.
Do you have
Nothing
a
wrong.
TikTok page, Sam Wu?
No. Now he's really too old. Don't ask him about that.
Now he's getting ideas. He's like, I'm gonna go to TikTok and get some more chants.
Yeah, exactly.
TikTok is the last thing that Sam needs. Sam will be all over that and doing the dumbest. Rebecca, you may not know this, but when this whole podcast idea started, a lot of it started with Sam sitting in front of a microphone and a Mickey Mouse head. he just sat there, this giant Mickey Mouse head, just because I think what were we 3 points out of the playoffs, Sam? Rebecca, he just sat there with this stupid Mickey Mouse thing. He would go nuts on TikTok.
No. I think the Devils lost probably 11 straight or something like that. They lost to the Rangers in heartbreaking fashion. And I was like, what am I going to do? Everybody knows I'm going to do a podcast bitching. So I just put on the Mickey Mouse costume, and we'll have to play it sometime, because that's how this podcast took off. And the whole time I'm just like a pissed off Mickey, be like, now you tank after Connor McDavid draft. Now you tank the weakest draft in 2017. Now you tank. You couldn't tank back then. Come on, Snyder. Why didn't you lose back then? That kind of thing. I have to pull that up sometime.
I need to see this.
No, you don't.
So
can you put the Titanic
really
meme behind it, like the camel video too? With you going crazy like that?
Yeah, that would be great. Put the music from the camel video.
Titanic. Put the Titanic. Yeah, put it behind you, just going crazy with the Mickey Mouse head.
Durango Steve from Molnar Roofing Inc. will pay for the tickets to the Riveters game.
All right.
I got a text. Let's see if I can zoom in. See, from Durango Steve.
All right.
Yeah.
Molnar Roofing Inc. Paying for tickets.
And Molnar Roofing Inc. is just like Duncan, that supports women's hockey and the NWHL. But
Very nice.
Add that in there, Rebecca. We try to promote Dunkin' Donuts. Yeah. Could you do that pose again? Just like that pose?
Oh, it's my favorite one.
Yeah.
Boom.
Wow. That's pretty cool.
Rebecca, I'm going to ask you sort of another serious question. What was it like playing at Fenway? That must have been so awesome to be in the guts of Fenway and come out and walk out in the big stadium for something that wasn't baseball.
Well, I'm embarrassed to say that was actually my first time stepping foot at Fenway. So it was kind of weird because I was like, there's so much history behind this place, and this is an amazing stadium, but I'm here for hockey. I feel like my first time here should be for a baseball game. But it was really cool just sort of getting to roam around before we even stepped on the ice. And we got to practice there too, actually, a few days before our game. So like I said, we got to sort of walk around a little bit and see all the history, and you definitely feel it when you're there. So it's a game I'll always remember. I love, putting on the eye black for the outdoor games. Nice. And like I said, it was sweet. A moment I will never forget. And I've been fortunate enough to play play outdoor games since then, and even one prior to that. But that's definitely the most memorable, for sure.
See, I kind of share a little bit of a fact with you like that, because the first time I went to Yankee Stadium was for the Devils Rangers outdoor game. So first time I went to Yankee Stadium was not for a baseball game, which I still haven't been there for a baseball game. Been there for everything but yeah, that was the first time I went to Yankee Stadium was for Devils Rangers outdoor game for hockey. So it's kind of like kind of like very similar with you only going to Fenway that first time for a hockey game.
Yeah, I'm glad I'm not alone there. That makes me feel a little better.
Oh no, you're not alone.
I remember that I
Go ahead,
skated
Sam.
around. I think the Devils season ticket holders had the opportunity to skate at Yankee Stadium ice. So I remember going there with my Marty gear. Yeah,
Really?
when it was my when it was my Marty goalie gear, and I actually skated Yankee Stadium, the ice.
Do we have
And
video
you
of
have
that? Please tell me a video of that.
Oh, of course I have video of that.
Pictures.
Okay.
Oh yeah, I got
know that.
pictures and videos. Yeah, let me look that up. And
Which, Sammy, before you go,
And there he went. Poof, he's gone.
There he
That's
went.
what he does.
Oh, Sammy,
there
there you
he's
go.
back.
Sammy.
He's back.
So Sammy, for all these years, I've been jealous that you have that Brodeur helmet that you use for all this when you wear all the gear. Someone was selling one online the other day, and I missed it. I missed out. They sold it before I even realized the post was there. So I want to tell you, I'm still jealous you have that helmet, and I don't.
Oh,
I'll find one.
Okay.
Anyway, Sam,
Also-
go find your stuff.
Oh, hold on a sec. I just got a plug. Cindy Lewis says home games are the best. Moose always has a cheering section. Just wanted to point that out. Let me find those pictures.
Hi,
and,
Cindy. Hi, Grevin. Cindy's daughter.
Cool.
They're the best. They're super loyal fans. I really got to know them this season. They even came to the All-Star weekend up in Boston, which was pretty cool.
Oh, nice. That's very cool. So we're gonna fly in
the All-Star weekend?
and then. Oh, go ahead. Go ahead.
Yeah, no. How was being there for the All-Star weekend?
It was awesome. I'm very familiar with Boston area because I went to school up in Providence, so it's about an hour away. So I have a lot of fond memories from being up in New England and in Boston in particular. I played in Hockey East, played a lot of Boston teams like Northeastern, BC, BU. But it was such an honor to be voted into the All-Star weekend just based on fan vote. Not everyone gets in that way, so it meant a lot to have people that thought that I belonged to be there, and just being in that company with, first of all of the original NWHL players from the first year who have been there all 5 years, and then an additional crew as well. It was really fun. I'd never played in any All-Star. It was my first All-Star game in the NWHL, and I never really had an experience like that before. You kind of have to like train your mind to remember, like, yes, this is competitive, but it's also for fun for the fans and to like show a little bit of your personality too. So I did hardest shot. I did not win that, unfortunately, but wasn't in last either. So that's really what I was aiming for.
73 miles per hour.
Woo!
Sorry.
You could have let her answer.
He's like, I know the answer. But I did that, and then we all got to do one shootout breakaway, every single player. And then that was Saturday, and then Sunday we had the All-Star game, which was pretty fun. My Team Dempsey, took home the W, so I was pretty proud of that.
Very awesome.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
So I wanted to ask you guys something because we haven't actually really got a chance to talk too much about Devils hockey so far. And it's something that I've been thinking about. I'm sure it's on everybody's mind, when all this, stuff started happening, with the self-isolations and everything and the leagues all shutting down. I thought, how can they, not award the Stanley Cup? How can they not give away, the NBA title? How can they not do all these things? And now I'm starting to think like, I'm okay if they don't do that. If there is no 2019, 2020 champion, because it might be for the best in the long run that everyone, stays away for a little bit longer. I mean, what if they start the season in July, or August or something like that, and then right into the next, I feel like I'm okay with that. A couple weeks ago, I was not. I was like, "How? No, we gotta have time. We gotta have baseball. We gotta have all this stuff. Like it's gotta happen at some point." But now I'm starting to feel like it's okay if it just doesn't happen because this is like a freak event. Like, how are you guys feeling about that?
Yeah, I'd say I initially had the same reaction. And like thinking it's obviously different NHL and WHL because we were at a point where there was just one game left, the championship game, which unfortunately the Riveters weren't going to be in. But it was all down, and I think they canceled. They ended up postponing it, like less than 48 hours before the game was supposed to happen. So I definitely felt for all those players, my NWHL peers. A little bit different, obviously, with the NWHL and a lot more left to play.
Yeah.
But what my first thought regarding my league was, oh no, we don't know how long this is going to be going on. If players can't even go to the rink to skate and stay in shape and be together as a team, and then like down the line, months later, they have to play in a championship game. Obviously, it's not going to be their first time stepping on the ice as a team. They're probably going to get time to prepare, but just based on that, it's hard. And obviously there are ways that you can train and, stay in shape at home, but nothing really replicates being on the ice with your team, not even being on the ice, working on skills individually. So I'm sort of okay with it too, just because of that. It's hard to do. And especially when certain teams who have all this momentum and then all of that's sort of put on hold for a while, it's not, I can't necessarily say that it's fair.
Yeah.
Because it's not, the conventional way that a season should go. There should be no extended break like this if you really want to, find the best team and crown them champions.
Yeah. So as far as the NHL is concerned, like it's not unprecedented because it happened for virtually the same reason back in 19. So there's precedent for that. I feel like if we were higher up in the standings, we would be a little bit more upset. We weren't going to make the playoffs. I think that was almost a certainty. For all the teams that were, that had a chance, they're probably feeling very differently. I don't know. Aside from lockouts or strikes, I don't know. I know there was 1 year no World Series. I don't know about basketball if they've ever not awarded a championship. I will tell you where I am bothered, and that's with Liverpool. We're 6 points away from a championship for the first time in 30 years. And right now it's paused. And I will lose my mind if they say, oh, the season's null and void, you don't win. I will lose my mind if that is the case. I want nothing more than the English Premier League to start back up, get 2 more wins, and then call it a day. They're 25 points ahead of everyone right now. That's where I will lose my mind the most. Not even with hockey, with soccer. So I want that to finish in the worst way. If there's no Stanley Cup, I'm going to hate not seeing Stanley Cup playoffs because there's nothing better in the spring than having, especially the first and second rounds are the best because there's it feels like 1,000 hockey games on every single night. I will miss that. I will miss seeing those games going in the 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 overtimes if we get lucky. I'm going to miss all of that. I would hate to not see it, the cup awarded. That'll just, if that's the case, that'll make next year's cup even that much more special. I'm, and then thinking about it now, working through it, I would be upset if they didn't give it out, even though we're not going to win it. As long as it's not the Rangers winning it, and it's virtually almost everyone else or anyone else, I would still hate to not see it, come mid-June. Well, at this point, it would be, mid-July potentially? Late August? I would love to see it, but it's going to cause – yeah, we're hoping. And if it is that late, like this, it's going to take, if they do restart all these leagues, it's going to take a good year or two to get everything back into like the normal cycle and just get everything caught back up, and it just, I would hate to not see it. And Rebecca, I feel for all the girls that had that one game left. Like there was, that just sucks. And I really hope that they can get that one game in, give them 2-3 weeks of good competitive, practices, get some scrimmages in there, and then let them go at it and let them see who the champion is. Or maybe you open next season with it. Maybe after training camp, that's the premier game to open up next season for you guys is that game. You just start with all right, here's the cup game. Like, let's go for it. And then the season starts from there on in. I mean, that really wouldn't be too bad of an idea for you guys.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think it's definitely an option, and one that I hadn't thought of, because you think about, okay, then how much of an off season do they get? Do they get an off season? And even though if you're not playing, it could be kind of considered off season, it's not really the case because you're not like sitting around doing nothing, and your head's still in it, and you still have something to play for, in your heart. So I don't know what the right answer is. Fortunately, there are people who make a lot more money than we do to make those decisions. But I also think it's just based on timing too, and how far out this is going to push. If it's something that's sooner in the summer, then I think it's worth continuing. But I always try to think about things from not only a fan perspective, but an athlete perspective, and what I would want to do. And that's tough to answer too. I think I would just personally want to get on the ice as soon as possible and start competing as soon as possible. With that sort of period to get back in it and get comfortable.
And I think it's a great point too that it is, for the NWHL, it is just the end that you guys, it's like with the NHL and the NBA and like Major League Baseball, they have like a lot of season time that they would have to make up, which would really complicate things. So I don't know, Short Scott, you have some pretty good ideas over there, buddy. You start working marketing or something like that as well, man. That's pretty good stuff.
Yeah, but though, like almost immediately after I said it, though, I was able to poke a hole in my own my own theory. Is you would have to do because let's say you were to open next season with it, and you really want it to be like fair and comparative to to be exactly with the end of the season. That means you would have to implement some kind of a weird either roster freeze for the very first game. And then like this, it would just there's so many logistical things. If it was just straight up, the both the same teams, you start off with it. But I know with all kinds of stuff, it may not just be business wise and logistically, but it's the possibilities there. I don't know. There's going to be, Rebecca, you're right. There's a lot of people making a lot more money making all these decisions than we're capable of, but if you can drive yourself nuts going on social media looking at all of the different situations for all the different leagues on how they're going to do this, either complete a season or get a season started, or all, there's just so much out there, and a lot of the headlines I'm seeing just seem to be like clickbait because they're just playing with whatever team's fan base that'll click the most because they either want it to start or we don't care. But even if we, kind of turn back to the Devils, like, how do you accurately say what the draft order is going to be? Do you go by last year's draft? I wouldn't mind having last year's draft order, 1 and 2 with us and the Rangers. But then you think about it, we had so many potential first round picks. What happens to those? Do they get transferred to next year? Which would also suck because this year seemed like it was going to be this year was going to be a pretty solidly deep draft year. I would much rather in a solid draft year have multiple picks and multiple chances. So there's so much logistically that's got to be figured out. Who knows? It's going to be wild when they start coming down with these decisions. about, do they start, maybe the NHL, maybe maybe for you guys, Rebecca, do you guys play behind closed doors? Do you test all the teams, make sure they're fine, and then play that game? Do you get all these teams playing behind closed doors? Who knows? The options are almost limitless,
Right.
for what they could do. Flat out of just canceling and saying either A, this is how it ends. Tough, you win the championship because you're top of the league right now, or do they? No, last year doesn't count. Which there's just it's going to be a nightmare to figure out, and it's going to be interesting to see when all these decisions do eventually come down. Once everything is figured out and calms down. And I think that was the longest rant I've gone on in a long time.
I literally, like, right here written on my pad, it says everything that you were just talking about. Like, my next question was going to be like, if they do cancel say they do cancel the season and we don't, finish out the NHL season, what happens with all those draft picks, all those conditional draft picks and everything like that? And the Devils are definitely a team that there's a lot of stuff riding on where, who gets in the playoffs and who doesn't. How does that get decided? That creates a lot of, questions and drama, like what is happening there? Is the draft then delayed? I don't know.
Yeah, who knows? I mean, I don't know. I really don't know.
Yeah, I know. Sam
I
Wu,
got no idea.
You're a producer. You should probably know, right, Sam Wu? Right? Sam Wu.
I don't know anything. I don't know anything, but this is what I do know. If the NHL does come back in the summer, this podcast has to throw a big summer party on that first
Barbecue,
game back
baby.
in July or August.
I'm down.
Obviously, it has to be safe, but also, I was thinking, when I planned my wedding, I made sure it was not during the Stanley Cup playoffs, because your anniversary will always fall on, especially in June, in case your team wins the cup. And also, can you imagine if it's Game 7, June, whatever?
Think it ahead.
Your wedding day is on that day forever. You can't skip your wedding to go to the Stanley Cup game unless your significant other says, no, we're going to cancel the wedding and go to the game. But say if you are like me and would plan it around September or October, so you're not in that, your anniversary doesn't fall onto that Saturday night, the Stanley Cup game would be. And now your team is in the Stanley Cup, and it's freaking September because of this, what has happened. What do? You can't win. So, I was just thinking about that, like all those little scenarios that, only happens to 1% of us. What do you do then? And, I hope hockey comes back in the summer. We're going to be part of something different. Even though the Devils are not going to be in it, but you never know. They may rip off, X amount of games, and suddenly, so the teams on the bubble from 6, 7, and 8, on the bubble, say if they slack off and suddenly the Mackenzie Blackwood goes, lights out 17-0 to end the season, and suddenly the Devils are, in 8th place. What do you do then? I mean,
I think you got that Terminator Skynet thing going on again.
Sammy.
Yeah.
Sammy, you know what? Let's say that they wrap up the regular season come, I don't know, June, July, and we have, I don't know, maybe 5, 6 home games left. That's 5 or 6 extra home games with fantastic tailgating weather. Scotty, I know living out in Southern California, you don't have to worry about bad weather in January, but tailgating in January, it's awful if you don't remember. So I really wouldn't mind having a good couple awesome tailgating days. Even if we don't make the playoffs, it's usually you only get those good tailgating days when you make a really good deep run, or the very beginning in October. I'll take 5 or 6 awesome tailgating days for Devils games. That'd be a good time.
Yeah. That'd be a lot of fun.
Rebecca, would you come? Would you come?
Absolutely.
Would you come to our tailgate party? A tailgate party podcast? Yeah. All right.
Do you work
Nothing
the
better than
grill?
hockey in the summer.
Do you work the grill?
Sam,
We don't like to
Sam, I
let
just
Sam
had
Wu
a
work the
thought.
grill.
I think I
Sammy,
got him beat
just
on
had a
that.
thought.
Nice.
What's that, Short Sky?
If we have a couple games, left and the weather's good, we take the podcast to the street outside of PJ Ryan's
Yes.
into a
Mm.
you know that
Yes.
street's going to be crawling with just people looking to have a good time. Yeah, we had the tailgate outside of PJ Ryan's with the people having a good time, having some beverages. It sounds like a party to me.
And then
It's like Mardi
DJ
Gras.
Shelley. We got to bring our DJ Shelley, to spin some
Oh, yeah.
records. Yeah, she's
Even
a great
better,
DJ,
even better,
actually.
we set DJ Shelley up in the back of a pickup truck, and she just like back her into the street there.
Mm-hmm.
Rebecca, what kind of music do you like?
I like a little bit of everything. I'd say my favorite is hip hop, and I like, I like dance, electronic music also.
Biggie,
But I also listen to some
Tupac.
country. Definitely a Biggie fan. I know
Really?
like
There you
every single word to Juicy. It's like one of my favorite songs of all time.
That is
But
one
yeah,
of the best
I
songs.
definitely say rap.
Okay.
Really? That's the
Yep.
kind of music I play in my car, Short Sky. You know that.
Yeah, I know that. I've been in your car.
Yeah.
I think in another life I would have been a female rapper.
Okay.
Really?
All
Okay.
There you go.
Yeah.
Cool.
Hey, you know what? Although Rebecca, you got a lot of time. You can start your career now.
Yeah.
You got time to do it.
TikTok. Get
That's
a TikTok
true.
account.
That's
Let's
true.
go. Let's get this going.
If there's ever been a time, it's now.
Now, just do it now. Just give us your biggie. Say something, Rebecca. Not that I'm putting you on the spot or anything.
This wasn't written into my contract.
Okay. Good answer. Good
Hold on,
answer.
wait, Sam, Rebecca has a
What?
contract?
Of course
She
she
has
does.
a contract?
Of course she does.
Yeah.
Scotty, do you have a contract? I don't have a
I
contract.
don't got no contract. What are you talking about? What's this contract?
Uh-oh.
Yeah. What's this?
She called. She
cat's out
called
of
me. A,
bag.
yeah, she called me a thief after she signed it.
How do you think I got the shirt?
Rebecca Morse.
Yeah,
Rebecca
right,
Morse,
yeah.
the first contracted member of the Let's Go Devils podcast.
Yes.
Look at that.
Very nice. Yes. All
First
right.
contracted member. Well done. Well done.
Very well done. Mm-hmm.
Thank you.
Wow. You and I have something in common, Rebecca. I like Biggie too. My wife tells me, shut that crap off anytime I'm blasting in the car, especially going through Newark. I was like, come on, we got to play Biggie. You can't play Biggie without going through Newark. Or
Couldn't
you
agree
like the
more.
old school rap? You like the old school rap, like Lords of the Underground, or that's a Newark rap group. I don't know if you know them. Maybe a little bit.
I'm not familiar. I'll have to check them out.
Naughty by nature.
But
Naughty by nature.
I'd say a good mix of old and new.
Oh,
Okay.
Do you like Liquid Metal? Something that Scotty would play on Sirius XM Liquid Metal XL. You like any Liquid Metal or metal?
That's
bands?
the opposite
Metal?
end of that's the opposite end of the spectrum.
Yeah,
But they
seriously.
get along.
I was just trying to
Wu-Tang,
plug.
System of the Down. Yeah, man.
Yeah.
There's a lot of hip hop and heavy metal collaborations. Public Enemy and Anthrax. Bring the noise.
Oh,
Come on.
that's one of the best ones. That is one of the
Oh,
best
yeah.
ones. Public Enemy Anthrax.
You even go Aerosmith and Run DMC when they did the Walk This Way back in the day.
True.
There's a lot of collaboration. Judgment
That's
Night
true.
soundtrack. Oh, don't even get me started. Don't even get me started.
I was just trying to plug
It's something.
you, Scotty. Sirius
Oh, well,
XM
thank you,
Liquid
Tim.
Metal. I just like saying that too.
I think it's more
Can I
that
be-
you just like saying that. Yeah.
So I
just wanna be
have to
the
say that
young
I like
guy.
that.
Yeah, you have to say it like that, like how Sam Wu does it.
It's in your contract, Rebecca.
It's apparently it's in the contract.
Yeah,
Watch-
you should have read the
Watch
fine
that fine
print.
print. Yep.
Yeah,
Lesson
that'll
learned.
be the last time you
Lesson
trust
learned.
Sam with a contract.
Man. Well, Sam Wu, it looks like our time is about up.
Yeah. Well, I just also want to
Wow, it's been an hour already.
Yeah. I just want to also give a shout out to Dan Rice. Speaking of contracts, Dan Rice never got one of our T-shirts. We've had him on several times on the podcast on State of the Fan Address with Nick Villano and I, Pucks and Pitchforks editor. So I said, whoops, no worries. We got you. Sorry about that, Dan. Reporter,
we got
Devils reporter, Metropolitan Riveters reporter. Also, thank you at NWHL on Twitter for retweeting the live Periscope feed on Twitter and on Periscope. Appreciate that. Also, Rebecca's fans, let's see, Megan Cassidy, why do they keep calling Moose Rebecca? Who even is that? Can you tell the story? Can you tell the story?
Well, that's my assistant coach, Megan Cassidy. But yeah, whenever like hockey people call me Rebecca, it's kind of weird, but obviously that's my given name, so whatever. I tell people to call me whatever they want.
Okay.
The Moose nickname came from I was 12 years old, 11 or 12 years old, and one of my hockey teammates had a really bad speech impediment, so she had trouble saying her R's. So when she tried to say my last name, Morse, it kind of sounded like Moose, and then everyone just started calling me that. And then I really started liking mooses, or moose. The plural of moose is moose. But yeah, and I have a moose tattoo on my back. Fun fact. On my shoulder. Yep.
Well, that's cool.
But yeah, it just stuck there. It really had nothing to do with the animal, just the way that a friend of mine said my last name.
Well, that's cool. It seems we've had a request for your dog to come on the podcast as well.
I could see if I could try and get him.
And we've also had a request for a Sam versus Moose freestyle rap off. So
I just saw that. I was going to say that too.
Yeah,
Sam versus Moose that's in the upper corners.
Yeah.
Let me find some music. I'll cue it up.
It was all a dream.
I used to read Word Up magazine.
Salt and pepper and heavy D up in the limousine.
Sorry, I lost.
Oh, you lost track. You didn't know where.
I lost.
Sam lost. All
right. We'll have to save that for a future episode here. Yeah. We'll let Sam practice for a week.
The Devils podcast wrap off, rap battle, whatever, is won by Moose over Sam.
Woo! All right, so let me cue up the outro music. Rebecca, thank you so much for doing this. I texted you last night. I was like, hey, you want to come on to the podcast? I figured you may not have anything to do. And you're like, sure. But I never thought in a million years that we would be able to guest host you, or you'd be able to guest host this podcast. We should do this more often.
I agree. This has been super fun. Thanks for asking. When you texted me last night, I was like, yeah, we've been trying to do this for a while now, and no better time than the present, right?
Yeah. Where's your dog, by the way? Is your dog nearby? What's your dog's name?
Cooper.
Is he upstairs? We'll get him next time.
Yeah, we'll get him next time. I just don't.
Okay.
Cooper. I thought he might try and come and make an appearance anyway, but he hasn't bothered me.
Mm-hmm. Oh, okay.
You know what?
What kind of dog is he?
That's kind of been like.
He's a golden retriever.
The theme of all the meetings that's kind of been the theme of all the meetings I've had in the last week with all these like Google Hangout meetings. Is like every now and then someone's dog would pop up on the screen, and everyone's like, "Oh, the dog!" And like everyone went to go call their dogs, and the dog's coming over. So it's been a very popular theme in the last 2 weeks. Dogs jumping into video conferences.
Oh, he's jumped into a ton of my video conferences for work. I don't know why he doesn't want to hang out with me now. I'm a little offended, but we'll talk about it.
You know what?
After.
You're just gonna have to post a picture of Cooper to the group at some point, so everyone can see what Cooper looks like. That works.
He's pretty cute.
I have a theory why he hasn't popped on, but I won't say that. I'll say it off air.
Oh God, can't wait to hear this.
All right.
I know exactly where you're going, Sam.
Yeah. Anyway, we would like to thank everybody. We'd like to thank everybody for joining in on the Let's Go Devils podcast. Thank you, Rebecca, for coming on. We're going to have you on more often. Great friend of the podcast. Shorts Guy, Scotty, and also Beer Baron. Sorry you had to work late doing your online lesson planning for your kids.
Oh, poor baby. Poor baby had to work. Oh.
But I think Rebecca is holding your seat, Beer Baron. I think you got to step up your game. Yeah.
That's right.
Till next time. Let's go Devils and Riveters.